Coming up on tonight's episode of Sports Path, we have highlights and coverage of an exciting basketball doubleheader down at Tartan. The boys battled for the first annual Patriot Cup. We'll also get into some Hill Murray hockey as both the boys and girls teams try and make the 2016 postseason one to remember.
Ball finds the hole up the middle.
Steps up, goes deep left side. Receiver open, count it. Touchdown, Titans! Takes a nice shot outside the goal box, and he will break the 0-0 tie. Fantastic shot by Kenloff Solon.
Giller makes a move, a good one. Opportunity here. The Bears score! The Bears strike first.
He's at the 40. He's down to the 30, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Jalen Bryan. Why not? What a beautiful run.
Maureen there fights her off the puck. Opportunity here. Another sit. And a goal! Second chance effort for the Pioneers.
Put the icing on the cake, if you will, Michael. Go down and got to the outside and said good evening and good night.
Hello and welcome to Sports Path. I'm your host, Sam Erickson, and we have got a great show for you this evening. As always, we've got your Fab Five basketball and hockey teams covered. We'll also let you know a little bit more about a Fab Five athlete who is getting a lot of attention for her ability both on and off the ice. But before we get going with all of that, we are going to give our viewers a chance to get involved and win some great prizes, and that, of course, is with our trivia question. And our question for this week has to do with the Miss Hockey Award. The question is, who was the last Hill Murray girls hockey player to get the Miss Hockey Award? So start digging for that answer. Later in the show, we will give you a couple hints. So if you know the answer or know where to look to find the answer, be the first to respond correctly to our trivia question post, and you will be our big winner. It didn't happen that long ago. That'll be our first hint for you to start things off. So with that out of the way, now we're going to start off our basketball coverage, looking first, of course, at the girls' Metro East standings. And girls basketball still has a couple games to go in the regular season. All of our Fab Five teams will be wrapped up by February 27th. Simley has taken control of second place after beating both Mahtomedi and Hill Murray since our last show. The Pioneers are now third with a record of 8-5. Hill could be sitting in second place, but we're on the wrong end of a 44-42 game against Simley last Thursday. And we do have one girls basketball highlight for you this week, and that is Tartan and North. You saw them bunched up kind of near the bottom of the standings. And that was, of course, the first game of our doubleheader that we did. And we'll get things started as North gets off the bat real well with Carissa Starr hitting the jumper. And then Alexis Pratt drives to the hoop, gets fouled on the shot, makes it, has a chance to make it a three-point play. She will miss the free throw, so at 4-0. Next time down the court, Crystal Tonzeth finds herself one-on-one with Riley Georges from the Titans, takes the ball around her for 2 points, 6-2. Tartan gets the ball on their end of the court, but with a sloppy pass stolen away by Abigail Chevalier. The ball then goes to Alexis Pratt for a fast break, 8-2. Titans would decide to take a timeout with the score at 8-2. Out of the timeout, the Polars would get another basket as Carissa Starr nails the long jumper. Wasn't a three, makes it 10-2. Then again, next possession down, Carissa Starr gets it. This time it is from 3, and she sinks it, making it 13-4. But Titans will claw their way back into it, and by the time the first half winds down, they hit a 3, and Tartan is now in the lead with a 6-point advantage, 30-24 going into the half. We'll pick this one back up Shortly back up here, Sarah Janikowski, partway into the second half, sinks a crucial three-pointer, making it 38-30. So Titans are up with 12 minutes left to go in the game. North would get hot from the three-point arc, trying to get back into this one as Chevalier hits a three-pointer there. Then once again, this one, NBA range. She was hitting it from North High School back there, knocks it down, but that was as close as North would get. Tartan ends up winning it 57-47. Sarah Janikowski led the Titans with 17. Carissa Starr had 16 for North, and quite an improvement for North after losing 72-37 in the first meeting between these two teams. So nice job by the Polars there. And good job by that Tartan team that keeps getting better every game. So Suburban East standings now, we're going to take a look. And looks like the Bears will be your 2016 Suburban East Conference champions. The season will wrap up by the next Sports Path, and they are well ahead of the rest of the conference. So congratulations, ladies. Now the only question is if they can finish out the conference season undefeated as the regular season concludes. So good luck, Bears, and keep it up. We're excited to see what happens with you in the postseason. So with the regular season concluded and the postseason on the horizon, we are going to take a quick peek ahead and look at sectional standings and some potential seeding for our Fab 5 schools. And you see in Section 4, 3A, Hill Murray has jumped up to second place, even though they remain winless against sectional opponent. Mahtomedi's position behind Hill Murray in the Metro East also had the Zephyrs looking up at the Pioneers in the sectional standings. And it looks like St. Paul Como Park, ranked number 3 in state, will for sure get that number 1 seed when it comes time for the section tournament. And that 2nd through 5th seed are all up for grabs as it comes down to what happens in those last few games of the regular season, and sure will be interesting to see how that all winds up. And now switching over to Section 4, 4A, you see some Fab 5 representation. White Bear Lake still at the top, now ranked number 7 in Class 4A with 18 wins overall. East Ridge has fallen to 12th after a 3-game losing streak, and Tartan continues to move in the right direction with a chance to finish with both a 500 conference and a 500 overall record. The Titans are now averaging 2 more points per game than they give up and could very easily get the 5 seed over Stillwater and may have an outside chance at that number 4. You see North, on the other hand, will probably end up getting the 8th seed as they are ranked 63rd in the state out of 64 teams. Okay, so that is how things are looking on the girls' side of basketball. Now on the boys' side, the regular season has already concluded for our Fab 5 teams. Tartan and North are going to split the Metro East Conference crown after splitting the regular season series. That's unfortunate for a Tartan team who let one slip away in the first game between these two. The Titans did pick up a big win against 16th ranked Edina to finish out the regular season and are on a 10-game winning streak heading into playoffs. North defeated Mahtomedi in overtime after they lost to Tartan in their last game. Good luck to the Titans and Polars. We look forward to covering the playoff run. And speaking of covering the Titans and Polars, we were there for the rematch and the first ever Patriot Cup. And remember, this was the second game. The last time, North won 66-64 in what was a very closely contested match. You see the missed layup, goes the other way. Jarvis Thomas gets it for the two-handed slam, and that'll get the momentum swinging in Tartan's favor early on. And now on another missed shot, that one by North's Thomas Okoye. A rebound goes down the other way for Tartan. Jordan Horn stops and pops. Looks like a 3, but unfortunately he did have his foot on the line, and so it'll only be a 2. On the following play, Tartan would kick it out to Noah Whalen, who pulls up for a 3. This time well beyond the arc. He drains it, and Tartan really on fire now, up 14-8. And ball goes down to the north end. Jordan Horn picks the pocket, gets the steal, breaks down the court, gets the lay-in, and Wall getting fouled on the shot. That'll make the score 16-8. He'll hit the free throw. That'll be 17-8. We'll pick it up at the end of the first half. Elijah Johnson misses the easy lay-in. Lay-in missed. Elijah Johnson cleans it up. Tartan still continuing the momentum and the hot start. Jarvis Thomas gets the dish, gets fouled, and finds a way to slam the ball home. That would make it 38-22 after Thomas hits the free throw. And nearing the end of the half. In fact, the very last play, fast break for Tartan, they would make it 40-24. So it's a pretty far different cry from the first game that we saw between these two. Tartan able to take this one rather handedly, 76-62. Led by as much as 21 points. Jarvis Thomas had a very big night, leading the way with 17 points, and we spoke to him after the big win.
On their home floor at 76, the North St. Paul Fullers 62. From all of us on Location TV 9.
To be honest, he was like, he didn't tell us anything. He just said, I know I don't even need to tell you guys to play, because I know you're going to want to come out and play, you know. Play your hardest to get this one, because it means, you know, a lot more, and it's worth a lot more. It's the section seeding and the conference championship, or co-champs, depending on their game Friday. So he just told us he knows he doesn't really need to say anything.
And in fact, they were co-champs of the Metro East as well as champs of the Patriot Cup. You see they're winning the trophy. That got cut away, but Jarvis Thomas holding the trophy. And that is a trophy that will be handed back between both these teams each year. Kind of a friendly rivalry thing they're going to do, because as you may know, both of these schools are in the same school district, District 622. All right, so after that highlight, we're going to take a quick look at the Suburban East standings. You see White Bear Lake at the bottom. Unfortunately, it's been a long year for White Bear Lake, who finished the year off losing to Cretin-Derham Hall, but almost knocked off Eastridge in their second to last game. So good stuff from a team who's had a long season, and way to really see it out to the end. Okay, and with that, the teams have moved on and are thinking towards the postseason. And the brackets are actually finished on the boys' side, so we'll take a look at those. First, we're going to start off with Section 4 3A, and you see Mahtomedi finished the regular season 19-7 and ranked 11th in Class 3A. They earned the top spot in Section 4 and host Hill Murray in the quarterfinals. The Zephyrs should cruise past the Pioneers, who have struggled this season after making the section championship last year. Winner of this game takes on the winner of the game between Totino Grace and St. Anthony. And although Mahtomedi beat Hill Murray twice, they did not beat Totino Grace, who they faced earlier in the year. So it should be interesting to see what happens if both of those teams reach the semis. Now switching over to Section 4 4A. We saw how the Polars and Titans ended things in the Metro East, but now we'll see how they stand in the section. Tartan end up 22-4 overall, ranked 18th in 4A, earning the 3 seed. They host Stillwater in the quarterfinals and will most likely have to travel to Cretin-Derham Hall in the semis. North finished the year 21-5, and they'll host Eastridge, who's only ranked 4 spots behind the Polars in the rankings. North will most likely face top seed Woodbury if they advance to the semifinals. The Polars lost to Woodbury earlier this year, but a big shout out to Tartan and North for both finishing the year with over 20 wins. Way to go. And that's that. For basketball, we've got your Fab 5 hockey coverage coming up after the break. The girls' state tournament is over, but did the Pioneers win their 3rd consecutive championship in a row? Stay tuned for the answer.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday.
And I love tacos.
Hey, TV19 sports fans, do you enjoy watching your kids' games on TV19? Well, this is only possible through the help of many volunteers, and we want you as a volunteer. To find out how you can help, contact Arlen Becker. His contact information is listed right there on the screen. It's a great opportunity. You can't do without him. Love to have you on board. All right, well, we already got you caught up on all things hoops for your Fab 5 schools, and so we'll be moving on to hockey in a minute. But first, let's revisit our trivia question for this week's show. The question is, who was the last Hill Murray girls hockey player to win the Miss Hockey Award? We will give you a small hint. She won this award all the way back in 2012. So go look up the answer. If you are the first to comment on our Facebook post, you can win a prize. 2012, I feel like some of you probably went to school with her or maybe have siblings that did. All right, well, with the trivia question out of the way, we'll dive right into our hockey coverage, and we'll start by looking at the Section 4 2A bracket. Section 4 AA is a big one for our Fab 5 schools, and it's no surprise to see Hill Murray at the top and, of course, in that championship game. They took on Mounds View in that championship game, and don't want to be a spoiler, but you might see the score there. But we've also got some highlights for you from that one. And this one took place down at Roseville Arena last week. Beautiful setting there. Hill Murray, of course, going for 3 straight state titles, 4 straight section titles. So 4 straight section titles is 4th consecutive time they're trying to win this one. Being number 1 in state seems like likely it's going to happen. We'll get it started early as Abby Barine peppers the goalie with a shot. Hill Murray outshot Mounds View 17-4 in the first period. The Pioneers would get on the board late in the first period as Erica Steigoff gets her first goal of the season. Hard to believe there's a Pioneer on this squad without a goal, but Steigoff does it in style, clanking it off the post and in for the first goal of the game. Then a little bit later, the Pioneers will get on the board again as Taylor Henthorne skates in on the right and gets a shot off, and the score is now 2-0. That was Henthorne's 9th goal of the season, her 2nd of the section tournament, as she got one against Woodbury as well. So going into the first break, Hill Murray with a 2-0 lead. Early on into the second period, Mounds View now looking to make something happen as they nearly get the puck in with the wraparound, but Ava Bailey able to stop it. We'll take a slow-mo look at that. Almost in with the wraparound, comes off a skate. Bailey with great instincts to just hop on that puck and stop it. Now, if you thought that was a crazy play, take a look at this one as Ava Bailey stops the first shot. Bit of a scrum out in front of the net, and somehow a Mounds View player gets on the end of it and gets it into the back of the goal. That was Sydney Brott who gets her stick on the puck once again. You see in slow-mo, gets it through the 5-hole of Ava Bailey. So Mounds View charging back into this one, only trailing 2-1. The rest of the period wouldn't be very eventful. About 5 penalties, 3 on the Hill Murray side, 2 on the Mounds View side. So 2-1 coming in after the second intermission, getting things started at the third period. Only took 33 seconds, and Hill Murray got the 2-goal lead restored once again as Jack Casa dishes the puck to Lindsay Featherstone in front of net. That was Featherstone's 13th goal, that nifty backhand, and Casa and Featherstone are both going to be attending Bemidji State. So a nice Bemidji State connection there for Hill Murray. You see, Hill Murray was able to finish it out. They win this one, get their 4th consecutive section title as they defeat Mounds View 3-1. And so with that section championship, Hill Murray moved on to the state tournament, a place they're very familiar with. And we'll take a look at that Class 2A state bracket for the girls. And Hill Murray, the number 1 seed, number 1 team in the state, had no problem getting past Sartell Sauk Rapids 5-0 in the quarterfinals. And they went on to face Maple Grove, as you see, who defeated Lakeville South. And in that semifinal, Maple Grove pulled the shock upset as the Crimson, oddly enough, the last team to defeat the Pioneers, got a fantastic effort from their goalie, Brianna Blessy, who stopped all 43 shots that she faced. That's too bad for a Hill Murray team that really looked destined to win it all and actually outplayed Maple Grove for most of the night. Just goes to show you why they don't play these games on paper and how difficult it is to win a state title. So tough luck, but nice job all year long, girls, and I'm sure they'll be back next year. And you see Eden Prairie ended up taking out Maple Grove in the state title with a score of 3-2. And on the 3rd place game, the Pioneers actually defeated Edina, so the Pioneers were your 3rd place team in Class 2A. So that's that on the girls' side of things. We'll switch it over to the boys' side, and we'll start that off by looking at the Metro East standings. You see Hill Murray did end up winning the Metro East Conference title. And you see Tartan finishing 5th in the conference at 7-6 after a nice late season run. Now, North played some tough competition this year with only 5 wins. However, they did pick up 4 wins in the tough Metro East Conference. We got some highlights of the last conference game of the year between both North and Tartan, and here they are. As you see, took place down at Tartan Arena. North goalkeeper Malachi Zamakona getting ready for this one. He was going to need to be ready as it started early. Just 1:54 into the first. Andy Henderson nets one off a turnover to put the Titans up 1-0. Dan Betts then catches Zamacona off guard when he fakes going around the back of the net. Instead, brings it back for the wraparound and beats Zamacona, who couldn't get back in time. Tartan up 2-0. Titans' Nate Reddy would score a pair of goals to finish out the first period. You see the first right there would come from a Dalton Ryther pass. And then the second comes off a breakaway right after a turnover in the neutral zone. Reddy skates it in for a beautiful backhanded goal, gets past Zamacona, and that would do it for the first period. Score is 4-0 at the end of the first. Now getting into the second. Tartan would just keep adding. As 3 minutes in, C.J. Acker gets a goal after a little bit of a 2-on-1 breakaway, and the score is now 5-0. Pullers would hold them off for about 8 minutes, but the Titans fire back again. This one off the faceoff. Dan Betts hits it forward, gets the puck over to Nick Steinberg for an easy goal. So the score is now 6-0. Pullers would get a little bit of momentum as number 5, Carter Wold, the captain, finds himself alone on the breakaway, makes a nifty move, and slots it past Tartan goalie Julius Husett. But if you thought the Pullers were getting a lot of momentum to go their way, hold on just a minute, as literally a minute later, Sam Lindahl nets one on a 2-on-1 breakaway. Instead of passing it over, decides to just take it himself and wrists it to the upper corner. So that will make it 7-1, and the last goal of the game would come for, you guessed it, the Tartan Titans, as Joey Schomer skates in and gets past Zamacona. Zamacona dealt with a lot that night, and it wasn't a great night for him nor the Pullers, but the Titans get a big win 8-1 as 7 separate players score. Okay, after that Metro East highlight, we'll swing it over and take a look at some Suburban East standings. You see White Bear Lake in 4th. They actually tied with Roseville on 19 points with a 9-6-1 record. So nice job by White Bear Lake finishing off their season in the top 3. So after taking a look at those standings, we're going to now look at the section brackets, as section play is already underway for boys hockey. And Modern United took on St. Paul Como Park in their first round, beating them 11-2. 3 separate players scored twice, and 8 players got 2 or more points in the win for the Zephyrs. And it looks like they will take on Totino Grace in the semifinals, who got past St. Paul Johnson in overtime 4-3. And you see there, that is who they will play. It looks like it's really going to be set up for St. Paul Academy and Modern United in that championship game, which should be a good game. So now over to Section 4 2A, and you see White Bear Lake upending Roseville, who they tied with in Suburban East standings. Nice win there as White Bear Lake went up 4-0. Roseville really only got a goal at the very end of that one. Stillwater, also the unanimous #1 seed, having a little bit of trouble with 8 seed Irondale. So that bodes well for you Pioneer fans that see Hill Murray sitting at the 2 seed. And there is the semifinal. Stillwater will host White Bear Lake, and then Hill Murray will host Woodbury. I believe we're going to be covering that Hill Murray-Woodbury game. That should set up a good section final as Stillwater and Hill Murray hopefully look to get together for another section championship, something that's happened quite a few times in recent years. All right, well, that will do it for our hockey coverage. We're going to talk about a few Fab 5 athletes, one who's up for a Miss Hockey Award, and another one who's been doing big things in hockey for a long time, ever since he left White Bear Lake. Hey there, TV19 sports fans. Of course, we want to remind you to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. If you want to catch any of the TV19 sports games we've done, we often share links to it on our Facebook page, as well as if you're looking to win that trivia contest we do every week. That is your only venue, posting to our Facebook trivia post. All right. With that, we now want to remind you of our trivia giveaway question. And that question, of course, was who was the last girls hockey player from Hill Murray to win the Miss Hockey Award? Comment on that, of course, and you will stand to win some fabulous prizes. Of course, you have to be the first one to get it right. Okay, well, with that out of the way, we're now going to discuss one of your Fab Five athletes who has recently been recognized as a finalist for a very special award here in Minnesota. Mackenzie Steffen has been named a finalist for the Minnesota Miss Hockey Award. Steffen, a defender for the Pioneers, is looking to be the second Hill player to win the award since Hannah Brandt won it in 2012. A 4-year all-conference selection and a gold medalist for the U.S. under-18 national team, Steffen has definitely been an integral part of the Pioneers' back-to-back state championship teams. This year, Steffen was 5th on the team with 31 points in 27 games. She has 7 games with 2 or more points and has only been held off the score sheet 5 times. Not too shabby for a defender. Not only a force on the ice, Steffen owns a 3.54 GPA and is committed to play hockey at Wisconsin next year. Outside of school and hockey, Mackenzie also finds time to volunteer. She's volunteered at a local elementary school, a hospital, a monastery, a care center, and let's not forget the local Lions Club. Quite the busy girl. Coach Bill Schaffhauser credits Steffen's work ethic and her ability to balance her interest in sports, school, and community service as one of the biggest reasons for her success. Now, although the season may not have ended the way Hill Murray would have liked, with leadership from players like Steffen, the Pioneers are very well set up for the future, and it seems that Miss Steffen is headed in the right direction, whether she is Miss Hockey or not. So good for her. So we're going to be going from a current Miss Hockey finalist to a former Mr. Hockey finalist, and that is Ryan Carter from White Bear Lake, and he is making a name for himself once again in the state of hockey. And that name, Ryan Carter, is one that many of you from White Bear Lake may remember. Ryan played for the Bears from 1998 to 2002, and as I said, was a Mr. Hockey finalist back in 2002. He was one of the all-time greats to don the Bear sweater. Carter was heavily scouted out of high school and originally went on to play juniors in the great state of Wisconsin for the Green Bay Gamblers. And you see, he picked up 81 points in 115 games for the Gamblers in a few seasons. So after his time with the Gamblers, Carter was offered a scholarship by Minnesota State Mankato, where he played collegiately for 2 years, scoring about 58 points in 74 games. And in fact, there is one of his points right there. I believe this was to finish off a hat trick that Ryan Carter had while he was in Mankato. So after his time in Mankato in 2006, Carter signed a professional contract with the Anaheim Ducks after not being drafted. He was then sent to their AHL affiliate, the Portland Pirates, where in 76 games he put up about 36 points. Ryan was called up to the Ducks for their playoff run in 2007 and actually appeared in 4 games during their Stanley Cup run. They did win it all, and so Ryan was lucky enough to have his name engraved on the championship trophy. And you see him there at a function in White Bear Lake with Lord Stanley's Cup. After spending a few more years with Anaheim, Ryan was eventually traded to Carolina, where he spent the 2010 season. Carter was then again traded a year later to the Florida Panthers, where he also only played 1 year. And eventually he would find his way to the New Jersey Devils, as you see there. And in 171 games, he got about 33 points and established himself as a more regular player. The Devils did not, however, offer him a contract at the conclusion of training camp in 2014, but your Minnesota Wild came calling and decided to bring in the hometown boy. And he has been with the club ever since. Ryan got his name in the news a little more recently, scoring in the Stadium Series against the Blackhawks on Sunday. I'm sure playing outdoors brought back good memories growing up in White Bear Lake, and Ryan's hard work and dedication that keeps him playing professionally is no doubt a testament to the community and people that he grew up with. Well, that about wraps things up for our show. We want to remind you of our next episode of Sports Path. That will be, of course, March 9th, live at 7 p.m. We'll have a few more broadcasts sprinkled in the mix as things kind of unfold in section play for basketball as well as hockey. So stay tuned for those. And we want to thank everybody for watching and hope you have a great night.
Pass back to the top of the key, 5 seconds, big shot for 3 points, and it's good! 3 seconds, and time runs out.
Rebound by Whalen, sent back the other way. There's a big two-hand slam by Jarvis Thomas. Gets the crowd going a bit. Just looking for any bit of daylight. Thomas inside, the two-hand slam.